Hello everyone, this is Melissa with Enchanted Emerald bringing you a reading here for this September 14th, 2022. It is a Wednesday, and so I hope you're all doing well out there. I know that this month is flying by for me. I have been very busy, but I hope that everybody is enjoying this now that we are in full swing here of this Mercury retrograde. I have felt that, of course, to the max. Our internet was kind of messing up and everything yesterday, so we've had to reboot that several times actually already since Mercury has entered its shadow, and then now we're actually into the retrograde. So I hope everybody had a chance to check out the full moon. It was absolutely beautiful, so always stunning. And so I'm going to get right into the read here. We have out of the Light Seers Tarot, of course, we pulled the Hanged Man today. I say we, anybody who's watching, collective consciousness, and of course my spirit guides are here with me today, bringing you this message. So we have the Hanged Man out of the deck today. Now, I do feel that there is some unresolved grief that could be creeping up for some of us out there that is just making its way through so that we can clear this, right? Ultimately, I think it's a never-ending cycle of clearing stuff, and so that's something that could be happening at this point. I do feel that there is someone in your space that could have a significant influence over you, where I feel like you're kind of joined at the hip with this person. Maybe you spend a lot of time with this person. If you don't spend a lot of time with this person, you're probably talking to this person frequently, messaging this person back and forth frequently. But I feel like you are at a crossroads of some sort, right? Where I feel as though you may feel like you're at some sort of a roadblock, so to speak, right? Where you're seeing the signs for things, but you're seeing them as more of like a stop sign, right? More like signs that you should not do something. And so you're kind of just sitting there at the stop sign of this crossroads, and you're like, do I drive my car forward? Do I take a left turn? Do I take a right turn? Where am I going? What am I doing, right? And so you're just hanging out there because you're just waiting for a sign from Spirit to know that this is a right path for you. And so it's almost like that roadblock, right? When you do drive up to a roadblock, you're allowed to pass through if you're able to pass the test, whether they're checking your license, whether they're checking your inspection sticker, whatever the case may be, you're able to then pass through if they give you the go-ahead, if you have then passed the test. So are you, in essence, at this crossroads? Is this some sort of a test from Spirit? Is that something that is coming up, right, for you at this point in time? Are you being tested? Do you feel as though you're being tested? And the path that you take, you're feeling apprehensive about because you want to make sure that you're passing this test, right? Like, yes, I've learned all of these lessons from the past, and now I'd like to put it all into use and into action, and I want to make sure that I'm going forward in the best way possible for my highest and best, and so I want to make sure that I'm leveling up, right? You never want to be going backward. And so I feel that that could be part of that, right? Just sitting there almost in apprehension of going forward, right? And kind of integrating maybe all of the lessons from the past at this point in time to make sure that you make the right decision for yourself. So I do feel that, you know, the person that you're close with, that you communicate with all the time, I feel like you value this person's opinion. I do feel like at times, if you aren't comparing yourself to this person might be comparing themselves to you. And so there's a little bit of that back and forth. And I feel as though there is an element here where in the past you might have been hurt. And so you're in this space where you just want to play things safe. You just want to take a traditional route right now. You're like, man, I've tried that whole off-roading thing and it just is not fun because I feel like I'm winging it and I have to kind of make decisions on my own. And I get back on the road and my car is in disrepair, right? Like you yourself, your human body, our car, right? Like you need to repair yourself emotionally, you know, you need to heal yourself, and, you know, maybe physically you need to get into, you know, better shape physically, right? Because when you go off-roading and the off-roading experience, you are kind of out there on your own, right? So you're just like, I just want to take the safe route. I'm going to take the traditional route here, right? And I think that in our minds, sometimes we get to this space where we have an idea, or we have an idea of how we want to, you know, an ideal vision, right, of how we want things to go down, or what things would, you know, how things would look like if we were to have everything happen perfectly in the way that we want it to, right? However, it doesn't always happen that way. And so Spirit kind of steps in, and, you know, we're here to learn lessons, and we've signed up for certain things to learn these lessons. And so sometimes it doesn't always happen the way that we want it to. I do feel like this path that you're on, up until this point in time, you know, you're making the good decisions, you're making the right decisions for yourself, you're integrating the lessons from the past, and you're leveling up, right? So you're like, okay, now, is this a scam? Is this too good to be true? Because I feel as though things are going very smoothly. I want it to continue to go smoothly. And so if I make the right decision, it will continue to go smoothly, right? So, but is this too good to be true? That if I take this path and I'm going straight on this path, you know, that this is going to work out for me, right? You know, feel like there is a resolution here for us, right? We have this whole, you know, external force, right? We have all of our environments, we have our people, our support people, we have all of these opinions and things that we have to kind of filter through, and we also have to make the decision that is best for us. We are our own internal GPS guidance system, our intuition, right? Our higher self steps in and says, this is great, right? All of these things are happening, but we know what's best, and so you have to also make that decision for yourself. So that's the resolution there for you, right? I know that this person that you converse with a lot really probably has a lot of influence on you, and I get this whole feeling of like this do as I say, not as I do type of energy. And so whether that is an authority figure in your life, be it a boss, a parent, an older sibling, you know, or just somebody that you're seeking wisdom from because they've had a lot of life experience and is a good support and friend to you, you know, be mindful of the fact that we also get to make our own decision for ourselves. And that doesn't mean that that's wrong, right? Just because we may not be taking the path that they are advising us to take, because they are on their own journey and we're on our own journey, right? Because you could make this decision for yourself and you could end up, you know, this could be like something truly legendary for you. Like you could be like, it could rock your world how great things turn out, and you could be so amazed by that. So I feel like, you know, with this, it's almost like you internally have this like storm of ruin, right? Like you are this rebel without a cause where you're dissatisfied with some conditions around you, things, you know, the situation that you've gotten yourself in maybe, and it's like this, maybe even your inner child is kind of screaming like, no, let me out, this isn't working. And so you don't really have an end goal in mind. You just know that something has to change, right? Something's got to give. This isn't working out for you. So we got to shake things up. It's time to really let loose. So in order to do that, though, we really have to be able to be in touch with our purpose and know that regardless of what happens, you're making the ultimate sacrifice. You're making a sacrifice. You're breaking old patterns, right? And I think that in the past you've probably established a lot of bounds or boundaries with other people, and they're very unique, right? This isn't like any other situation of others around you, and so it's almost like you feel forced to do this. Maybe you almost feel as though that you feel cursed or burdened by this, right? Where you feel like you're on the straight and narrow and you have to stay on the straight and narrow, and there's no way that you're going to be able to let loose or take this different path that you've always wanted to take, because if you do that, then all of this other stuff will crumble. Well, if that's the case, then everything that you've built so far, is that your true and authentic path? Is that your true and authentic house? Is that your true and authentic nature? Is it is it supposed to be for you? Is it true? You know, and so being authentic with yourself. Now, this is, you know, saying that this is not a time to sit back and play it safe, right? This is time for you to really let loose. And see, with this Hanged Man, it's bringing in that new perspective. And so maybe seeing this as not so much a curse, but knowing that, yes, I am able to do this. I was blessed with these skills, and I am in a role where I am able to set out to do these things, and I will do these things and fulfill these things without fail, because I have the ability to do so, and not many other people have that ability, right? You were blessed with those specific set of skills to fulfill that specific role, and not many other people have those skills, right? Everybody has a unique purpose here. So is that your purpose? Are you finding that, yes, I have these skills and I don't know anybody else that does? So that's an awesome thing, right? And so there will be a temptation here for you to kind of cower back in fear, for you to retreat back into your shell, so to speak, right? What I'm shown with that is it's like making waves, and making waves in a pool. When I was little, we had a pool in our backyard, and when we went to Darien, like there was a ride, like the Barracuda Bay, and it was like so many waves, and we all got in the inner tube. Well, we would play in our pool, we would play Barracuda Bay. And so somebody would be on the outside, and we would like make all these huge waves. My dad got so mad because we would empty half of the water out of the pool, and you'd always have to refill it. But in the end, what I'm seeing is, yes, it can be really treacherous when you're making huge waves in a little pool, right? So you're containing yourself to this really small space, and then you're having these huge waves, and you're making these big waves within that pool. But when you do that, it can come over your head, right? And you have water in your face, and it's just really crazy. However, if you allow yourself to step outside that pool, say you go into a bigger body of water, like a lake, and you're making big waves, they're not as big, right? They don't go maybe over your head so much or so often, but they have more of a rippling effect. Think about when a speedboat goes by you on the lake. Well, eventually, if you're on the shore on your tube and you're like waiting, you're like, yes, the waves are coming, they ripple on out to the edge of the lake, and eventually it dies down. But you're creating more of a ripple effect. You're affecting more people. You have the ability to affect more people, right? Think of like ripples of kindness, right? And so, you know, it is more about who you're affecting and less about yourself, right? And we talked about that at the beginning of September. We talked about how the energy this month is going to be about how we are serving other people. So by you being able to step outside of that boundary and to face your fears, how many people are you inspiring to do the same, right? It's a beautiful process. So, and I think about this too, it's more like spirit showing, which is kind of a weird thing, but think about like a gas nozzle when you fill your tank, right? So you're filling your gas tank, and you can push it just lightly and you have a little trickle of gas coming out, or you can push it really hard and you have a big flow of gas coming out, right? Think about that for yourself, like your heart being open and like a stop being put on it. You're at that roadblock and you're just letting this trickle of love come out, right? Just a little trickle, right? Because you're kind of stopping yourself. You're like, I'm not really sure. But at some point, you're going to make that decision, and when you do, your heart's going to open wide. You're going to be there for it. You're going to be ready for it, and this outpouring of love is just going to flow, and you're going to be in your glory because you're going to be able to be who you are, who you're meant to be, who you're here to be. So think about that as your purpose, right? And think about why you're here. And so it's like this avalanche of change, and it's funny because I actually dreamed about snow the other day, so it's so weird. Peace, purity, right? All this snow changing in the seasons. That's all this is. And so it's once your heart is open wide, it's nothing can stop this from happening. Nothing can stop this change. And so as that snow starts to come down, trickle down the mountain, eventually it's like this momentum, right? A snowball effect, so to speak. And it just comes roaring down the mountain. And it's like this big effect of change that happens as a result. And so keep your heart open your heart wide. And how are we going to do that? Well, we talk about our yoga poses. So for those of you that are into yoga, the cobra pose, of course, is my favorite. I love the cobra pose. Fish pose and like the cat and cow, that will work. The cow pose is a heart opener. We could do that with Reiki. So if you're interested in a energy healing session, I'm your girl. You can hit me up on the messenger on Facebook or in the email enchantedemeraldny@gmail.com, as always. And we can do them long distance, those sessions as well. We can also use rose essential oil. That's a really good one for our heart. So if you have a diffuser, if essential oils are your thing, I can't even speak today. How do we know? First of all, how do we know, right? If our heart is unbalanced, our heart chakra is unbalanced or blocked. Well, you might have a difficult time forgiving other people. You might notice that. You might notice that you're being triggered and feeling jealous at times of other people or in relationships. You might find the desire to kind of isolate yourself versus spending time with other people. You might feel a little bit lonely and just overall disconnected from other people, right? So those are some signs that your heart chakra might be a little bit out of balance, okay? Some crystals to work with, which I love crystals. So if crystals are your thing, that would help. The rose quartz would be a good one, and emerald, anything that's green, right? Green aventurine, and emerald might be good. I like emerald because that's my birthstone. So, and then a good affirmation, of course, to kind of incorporate that all together. If you're doing a little bit of everything, is that love is all around me and it's everywhere I go. And if you want to use something else, you want to just like, I open myself to the love that's all around me, right? Just being open, setting the intention that you are opening your heart and that you're there for it and you're open to receiving it, right? So beautiful read that we have here for today. So I hope that this resonates for you in some way, shape, or form. And as always, I will be back with another read for you guys again soon. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and I hope you have a phenomenal rest of your day. Thank you so much. Take care.